Good morning, students. So this is Hemlata, and I am with you with a new topic of class 11. That is from chapter 3, Plant Kingdom, the first division, that is Thallophyta. And you all have seen the algae. Thallophyta is a group of plants which are simpler plants, which consist of algae. And algae, when you heard this term, you already know that in your 8th class, you have studied or observed pond water. So pond is a area or aquatic area where the water is stagnant. The water and that place is having water which is filled in it, and many types of living organisms are living in it. So out of them, green chlorophyll containing plants, which are very small plants, you tend to see in that water. Some algae you are able to see in that water. So let us explore the organisms and most preferably the algae which are present in the pond water. So I'm going to show you the images of those algae by Google Images. So telling you about the image of Spirogyra. It's taking some time to get uploaded. Once it is uploaded, I will be sharing it with you. I have searched on the net the image of Spirogyra. Next, I think slow. Till then, we will be discussing the general features of algae. General features, the first general feature is thaloid body. So what is a thaloid body? Unorganized mass of cells, for example, irregular mass of cells. There are green color cells which are present in a group, we can say, which are present as a collection, or blue cells aggregate. That kind of collection is called as thallus. So the plant body of the organisms of algae, which are the members of Thallophyta, consist of a thallus. That there can be other various forms in which the algae can exist, like some can be profusely branched and which are marine algae basically. Red algae, brown algae, these are very big in size and they are multicellular. So we can see under the microscope, Spirogyra appears surrounded by viscous gelatinous substances that represent the outer wall of the body dissolved in water. So this was Spirogyra. In the pond, it looked like this. In addition to filaments are also surrounded by mud which hold the filaments together to form clumps in water. So it is seen as this type under the microscope. So now we are going to see Spirogyra is famous for, you have also studied it in 10th class, that Spirogyra is having fragmentation mode of reproduction. So this is a connecting thing from your previous class. And the Spirogyra split itself into the piece of fragment, and then each fragment grow itself into a new thallus of the plant. It is a unicellular organism, can be seen in freshwater bodies when it's agglomerates into multicellular structures. Spirogyra composed of chlorophyll, which appear green, and clouds to prepare food. Spirogyra is an autotroph, like plant, because it is having chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is used for photosynthesis. Spirogyra is a thread-like green freshwater algae, easier to recognize by its spiraling chloroplast. So Spirogyra is green algae. A domain is eukarya. This is the classification of Spirogyra. Kingdom is Proteus or Protista. Phylum is Chlorophyta. Class is Chlorophysi. Order is Zygometales and family Zygometaceae, genus Spirogyra. Habitat of Spirogyra, it is living widely variety habitats including small standing bodies of water like that pond I said. They are also found in temporary ponds and they are photosynthetic chlorophyll, photosynthetic pigment, making them essential part of ecosystem. Multicellular filaments are algae made up of cell linked end to end to form long chains. These strand chains can be several inches long, and Spirogyra is having the spiral chloroplast as a characteristic feature. Life cycle of Spirogyra. Pyroviral life cycle is unfolded in three ways: vegetative, asexual, and sexual. Vegetative and sexual cycles are more frequent than asexual cycles. So mostly it reproduces at vegetative and sexual cycles more. A general generational shift is shaping the life cycle of Spirogyra. This is haploid. Since the organism haploid gametophytic structure is elongated structure, followed by the short diploid zygospore. Means mostly the life cycle of Spirogyra is haploid, and most of the algae have a haplontic life cycle. Their generation, they spend a lot of their lifetime in the haplontic life cycle. That means their plant body consists of the filaments of the Spirogyra, which is having the cells, and these cells are having the nucleus, which is having the n number of chromosomes. That means haploid. That means only single set of chromosome is present in them. Half chromosome. There is no, the chromosomes are not paired. And when the two gametes fuse, they form a zygospore, and that zygospore is a sporophytic structure. That is a single cell which is covered by a tough outer boundary. That is a only structure which is diploid. And therefore, we can see that the zygote is going to do meiosis. There is a zygotic meiosis in the algae, and they produce the spores, haploid spores. Zygospore is the only diploid phase of sexual cycle. After fusion, female gametangia breaks down to release the zygospore. Zygospore remain at the bottom of the pond until favorable condition is established. Zygospore then divide meiotically to form 4 haploid nuclei, only one of which survives. Zygospore then slowly grows and bursts to release germ tube. Germ tube divides several times crosswise to form haploid filaments. Again, the haploid filament of the algae is formed by the germination of the spores. Reproduction in Spirogyra. Reproduction, as we see that the life cycle is vegetative, asexual, and sexual. So reproduction is also of 3 types. Vegetative reproduction can be seen as the Spirogyra is going to reproduce by shortest mode. Simply it is reproducing by the some species can be asexual spores can be produced like aplanospores, echines, azygospores, and vegetatively it reproduces by fragmentation, most common. And what are echinid? What are aplanospores? Aplanospores, unfavorable condition when the cytoplasm of the cell contract and wall forms around it. Aplanospores are non-motile spores under favorable condition ultimately lead to form of filament. Aplanospores, the only method of production as Aplanospora. Spirogyra aplanospora is a plant member of Spirogyra. Echinid, in some species of Spirogyra, the cell develop a thick wall around to it, protect itself from adverse condition. As soon as the condition are favorable, echinid develop into filament. Azygospore, S variants, the gametes sometimes fail to fuse during sexual reproduction and are surrounded by thick wall, forming azygospores. So these are asexual mode of reproduction. Sexual reproduction, Spirogyra occur by changing from haploid filament to diploid zygospore. Conjugation is the method of sexual reproduction. Fusion of two opposite gamete strains, entire protoplasmic contents of the cell gamete become active, male gamete, while the other become passive, immobile. The conjugation in Spirogyra is of 2 types, scalar form and lateral conjugation. And identification of the Spirogyra, economic importance of algae. There are various uses of the algae because these are green algae are the aquatic ecosystem. They are producers of aquatic ecosystems, and they produce oxygen in their nearby water. They increase the dissolved oxygen level, and even they fix the carbon dioxide. Spirogyra consider essential source of several natural bioactive chemicals, antibiotics, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory purposes. Some species of Spirogyra have potential for municipal wastewater treatment, and particularly Himalayan species of Spirogyra has been shown to produce 13 known bioactive chemotypes of the plant protection importance, including fatty acid, sterols, and sterols. Cancer chemopreventive compounds also are produced by Spirogyra negligensea. Now, what is Spirogyra used for? In many Asian countries, Spirogyra special species is valued for human consumption, is also known as important source of natural biotic compound for antibiotic, antiviral, antioxidant, and anti-inflammatory cytotoxic purposes. And it is also important because it is having a bioactive chemicals. It's producing bioactive chemicals. These dominant components contribute to high antioxidative capacity, methanol medium, in a methanol medium, as well as high phenol content. Various bioactive chemotypes, anti-cancer, anti-hypoxia, anti-stress properties are there. So it is mostly used in pharmaceutical purposes, for therapies, for various types of medicines. And now we will move to red algae, because we have discussed about the green algae. Now there are three subdivisions in the Thallophyta. So one we have studied, that is green, that is Chlorophyce member. Now we will study the Phaeophyce member. It is the member of brown algae. This is the second characteristics. We can say this is the second division of the Thallophyta. Phaeophyce. These are marine mostly, and you can see the Phaeophyce image. So these are Phaeophyce image. These are brown in color. In the NCERT, they're given the general features of Phaeophyce, and then there is a table which shows the difference between all the three members or all the three divisions of the Thallophyta, which is Chlorophyce, Phaeophyce, and Rhodophyse. So I also will search the chapter 3 of NCERT. Phyce is a brown algae, is a group of algae that are aquatic in nature. Brown algae are primarily found in marine habitat, with few exceptions grow in the fresh water. They possess chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids, xanthophylls in the chromoplast that give them their characteristic brown olive green color. They reproduce via vegetative, sexual, and asexual mode of reproduction. So these are a few points of the Phaeophyce. You can see Phaeophyce are a group of algae known as brown algae. They are mostly marine. Few exceptional grow in fresh water. Brown algae are having different pigments, the chlorophyll, A and C, and they are also having xanthophylls. They are having chromoplast. For example, in the chromoplast, they are having main primary pigment, and large amount they are having fucoxanthin, that is brown in color, so making them brownish appearance, giving them brownish appearance. Characteristics are habitat, mostly marine. We have seen some, very few are freshwater. Is that they are immobile because they are such macroscopic structures, so they need to be fixed to the substratum. Base se fix hote hai. There is a big structure which is holding them onto the base, which is hold fast, and root like structure it is, but it's not true roots because they are already living in water. They don't need that structure, but they just need support. Root-like structure is at the bottom that hold the plant body to substratum. Unlike true roots, it does not take up any nutrient from the substratum. Just attaching an anchoring region is a hold fast. Now, type is a long extended stalk-like structure of the algal body. Differentiated type has three regions: pith, cortex, and outer epidermis. The function of pith is similar to the phloem of the vascular system of higher plants. Now, frond is the leaf-like flattened photosynthetic organ. It's often covered with slime to prevent epiphytes from attaching. Frond is a leaf-like flat structure at the top and covered with a slime. So these are the structures, which are general structures of the brown algae. And you can see the three common things: hold fast is there, stipe is there, and frond is there. Brown algae photosynthetic, containing chlorophyll A and C, also contain carotenoids, xanthophylls, and fucoxanthin. Major xanthophyll pigment found fucoxanthin, Phaeophyce, for its color brown. Cell wall of Phaeophyce, innermost layer made of cellulose and outer of alginic and succinic acid. Carbon storage in brown algae is in the form of laminarin or mannitol. So food reserve is in them is laminated and mannitol. Apart from that, acting as major carbon storage, it acts as an osmoprotectant and antioxidant. They all can reproduce via three modes: vegetative propagation, and asexual and sexual. So three modes are also present in them for reproduction. Asexual reproduction takes place by motile zoospores, and that is flagellated spores. And sexual reproduction can be either isogamous, oogamous, and isogamous type. External fertilization is there. So reproduction in Phaeophyce is there of various kinds. That is vegetative. Vegetative reproduction is by the fragmentation of the thallus. Fragment part get detached and float around and give rise to a new plant body wherever it starts attaching, and it develop into a new plant. Asexual reproduction in Phaeophyce is by zoospores, diploid sporophyte. Inside the diploid sporophyte, they are born. Zoospores are formed within either uninocular sporangia or plurilocular sporangia. The ones of uninocular sporangia are haploid and give rise to haploid thallus. Ones which are plurilocular sporangia are diploid and give rise to diploid thallus. Sexual reproduction in Phaeophyce is isogamy. That iso means same. Where we study isomers in chemistry. So these are the chemical compounds which are having the same molecular formula, but their structural formula difference. So they are isomeric compounds. Like we can make 2, 3 isomers of butane. And such is the case with isogamy. If the gametes are morphologically similar, that means they are having structures same. So we call them isogametes. And the fusion between the two, that type of gametes is isogamy. For example, if I make a gamete of any, we can say algae like Phaeophyce only, and both are oval shaped gametes, and both are of same size and same appearance. So I say that these are isogametes. And when they will fuse, I say that the fusion is isogamy. I will call it isogamy. If oogamy is there, it is between one motile and one non-motile. One non-motile, non-flagellated gamete egg with a motile flagellated gamete, another gamete opposite type, anthrozoid. If they fuse, then I say that the fusion is oogamy type. And male gamete is produced in anthridium, female gamete is produced in oogonium. Distinct gametes are there. And if there is an isogamy, that means the fertilization between two gametes of unequal size, and the fertilization gives rise to the diploid zygote that eventually develop into the diploid thallus and called sporophyte. So reproduction in Pyrophysi will be sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction. Both are seen here in this image. Then examples are there. There are 9 orders: Ectocarpales, Stylopteridales, Cattleriales, Sporocanales, so Laminarales, Dictioles, Fucales. These are the various orders of the brown algae. Importance is that brown algae are very popular as edible seed beads. They are examples are like sargassum and kelps are very profuse and macro in size. They are very large, multicellular. So they act as a food for the aquatic animals, which are herbivorous type of aquatic animals. They feed on kelps like otters. They are rich in alginic acid, which is extracted commercially, is used as thickening agent, various packaged food item across the world. Brown algae are popularly used in baking industries and making ice creams. It's used as a stabilizing agent. They are producing some substances like agar in their cell wall. And these agar and brown algae producing agar and gelatin in their cell walls, which is used to, these are substances which are inert in nature and hydrocolloidal properties. That means they can absorb the water inside them. So they are used for making jams, jellies. Brown algae were used as natural source of iodine and potash. It is used, iodine is extracted from them and it is used as to treat goiter. Brown algae called kelp is used to produce soda ash. Kelp ash is rich in iodine and alkali. It's also used in manufacturing of glass and soap, used in other things like fertilizer, surgical threads, soaps. So these are different uses of brown algae. Now, lastly, we have we will be looking for red algae. This is the last member which we will see. Let us see this last member with the help of NCERT so that we cover some points and then a cumulative, we can say comparative study of all the 3 members through a table. So these are the images of NCERT. The first is the image of Volvox and the second is the image of Eulothrix. And these are green. And then the middle one, which are having brown algae, you can see holdfast type and frond. And the last one are Rhodophyses, red algae, that is Porphyra and Polysiphonia. Main axis and branches there, frond is there. Now we are talking about the Rhodophyses. The Rhodophyses are the member of Rhodophyses are more commonly called red algae because the predominance of red pigment. So in the previous 2 we have discussed, one was having main pigment as green chlorophyll and it was called as green algae. ब्राउन एल्गी में जब मेन पिगमेंट था वो फ्यूकोजैंथिन था जो कि ब्राउन कलर का होता है, इसीलिए वो ब्राउन एल्गी कहलाती है. रोडोफाइसी रेड एल्गी इसीलिए कहलाती है बिकॉज इट इज हैविंग रेड पिगमेंट एज अ मेन पिगमेंट. एंड विच रेड पिगमेंट इज देयर? फाइकोइरिथ्रिन. Phycoerythrin is present in their body. Majority of the red algae are marine with greater concentration found in warmer areas. So majority are marine. These red algae also are found mostly in marine environment and also in warm area. They occur both well lighted regions and to surface also. They can occur in deep water as well as surface water. The red thalli of most the red algae are multicellular. So their structure is multicellular. Some of them have complex body organization. The food is stored as foliar green starch. So these algae are going to produce food, and this food is called as Floridian starch. It is very similar to amylopectin glycogen in structures. So it's structure is like a myelopectin or glycogen. You know, glycogen is our stored reserve food material. So it's a branch polymer of glucose. Whenever we have excess glucose in our body, our liver stores it in the form of glycogen. First, the glucose is converted into glycogen, then it is stored in the liver. So is the structure of this Floridian starch. So it is written like this. The red algae usually reproduce vegetatively by fragmentation. They reproduce asexually by non-motile spores. Though the difference is here, they have non-motile spores, and sexually by non-motile gametes. Their gametes are also non-motile. So both of them are non-motile. That means they do not have flagella. Sexual reproduction is oogamous and accompanied by complex post-fertilization developments. Common members are Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, Gelidium. So their common members are these four, which is given: Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, Gelidium, out of which Polysiphonia image is shown in the figure, which was I have shown previously. So these are the comparative table which I was talking about. This table shows you all the comparative features of all the three classes: Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, Rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae is green algae. The major pigment is A and B. The stored food is starch. The cell wall is made up of cellulose. Flagella number is insertion are 2 to 8 and equal flagella with apical insertion. Habitat is fresh water, brackish water, and salt water. Brackish water is the estuary water, which is having medium salinity. Salt water is marine water, high salinity. Phaeophyceae, brown algae, these are having the pigments A and C chlorophyll. Xanthophylls, fucoxanthins. Mannitol and laminarin are their stored starch. Cellulose, cell wall is cellulose, and also on outer side there is algin. Flagella are 2 and unequal flagella and lateral insertion. Fresh water, rare brackish water, and salt water. So fresh water, brown algae are rarely found in fresh water. They are mostly marine. So it's written rare. Rhodophyses, red algae, common name, and major pigment is chlorophyll A and D. Phycoerythrin, Floridian starch is there as a stored food. Cell wall is made of cellulose, pectin, and polysulfate esters. And the flagella are absent in them. Habitat fresh water, some are brackish water and salt water. Mostly the Rhodophyses are salt water. So this was all. We have discussed the algae and the kingdom, and the division Thallophyta of the plant kingdom. So this was all for today. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture, and I hope you have understood the three main divisions of the algae. So then we will be meeting in our next class for bryophytes, next division, bryophytes. Till then, take care and happy learning. Bye-bye.